what's going on, everyone? It's Chris, and welcome back to once again another episode of the Survivor Podcast with my good friend Gocubs 711.
North Carolina over Oregon, 72-69. Gonzaga over South Carolina, 76-75.
Hmm. Was he right, America? You can tell us down below. And like and share this video if he got it at least
Right.
20 points within the scores.
Wait, within 20 points? I'm going to do that for sure. I don't
Well,
like the video fools.
right, there you go. Welcome back, everyone. We got quite an episode to recap of Survivor and a lot of kind of the unknown of what's going to be happening next week. But we're going to get started right here. It was an interesting episode, a little bit more, a little crazy. It was going to be hard to kind of you come back from one of the greatest tribals in history, but I think
Yeah.
it was still interesting. The episode started out with JT basically talking about how he did reveal to Culpepper that he did tell the other tribe that Nuku was going to be voting out Sierra. And that's kind of what led to Sierra being saved with the idol, and then to Malcolm getting voted out. He was hoping that Sandra would be the one that Mata would be voting out, but it turned out otherwise, and it was not a happy day for JT. Sandra,
Nope.
meanwhile, kind of nails her around the head. She knows it was JT. She right out of the gate was saying, "I think it's JT," and he's going to regret ever trying to turn on this tribe. So that next morning, JT decides that he's gonna look for the immunity idol. Now that I guess that he's probably on the outs and Malcolm's no longer by his side, and he finds a clue. And it's the one where you have to find the tree markings. You kind of draw through the X's, and then he dug it up, and boom, found the idol. So JT, now armed with an idol, will probably be safe in future tribals. Now we get to the reward, and what do you remember the reward?
No.
Okay, they used they used grapples to grab items.
Oh, yeah.
And dig up the balls, and basically they using I guess using the item they dug up.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember this now.
Yeah, they're using the items that they dug up. They would balance the balls on the item and go across the balance beams, right?
Yep, basically. They different people had to do the two balance beam things. There were two sets of balance beam. One had a bow which allowed the ball to roll back and forth a bit and let you adjust your balance. One was just a platform or a single holder that was completely flat and really hard to hold on to. They showed the strategizing for this episode, which is something they usually don't do. We'll get to that, what that means later. After the balance beams, they basically just had to, I forget what exactly they had to do. I think they just had to put the balls in place.
Yeah, they put the balls in place, and
then someone solves a sliding puzzle.
yeah, you have to put two balls in, and then that would unlock someone to do the puzzle, and then whoever does the puzzle first wins.
This was an interesting challenge because for one of the first times, Mono was going very fast throughout most of the challenge. Well, maybe not very fast, but they definitely got out to a pretty good lead.
Yeah.
And then Debbie starts balancing things.
Now it should be pointed out that prior to the reward challenge, we saw a lot of the strategy between some of the tribes and what they would do.
Yeah.
And Debbie explicitly said that she was a gymnast, and that she was very good at balancing, and so that she would be good for the challenge. And Brad gave her that gave her that role as
Yeah.
the
It's
the
like,
balance
all
beam.
right, then do the balancing, do the harder balancing because you are so confident in your skills, Debbie.
Correct. And so, what exactly, what exactly ends up happening? So Mana's in the lead, correct?
Yeah, Amanda's in the lead, and then Nuku and Tavua both kind of come back. Tavua ends up winning. I believe probably Tavua ends up winning the whole thing because Zeke is really good at sliding puzzles and Ozzy has insane balance.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so they end up winning. They get the first place prize. Debbie never makes it across her second balance beam, and Nuku ends up winning the second place prize. And then Debbie, when they get back to camp,
Well, yeah,
starts throwing. Can we go? Can we go here now,
yeah, absolutely.
or is there something else going on?
Well, no,
Uh,
yeah, it was worth noting that the foreshadowing of this next segment was essentially saying Debbie was pissed. Debbie was pissed about it, and she felt like she was being bossed around by Brad, and I don't think anyone really understood what she was talking about. And the next part of the show didn't really help matters. So you could go ahead with this if you want
all right. So yeah, Debbie threw a fit saying she was being bossed around by Brad. Was yelling because she thought that Haley, like, and yelling both in conventionals and at the other members of her tribe, that like Haley was like this like spoiled princess or whatever. That got whatever she wanted, and everyone else is just like, "What the fuck are you talking about, Debbie?" Uh, I would like to point out that uh, that you kept saying that it was Brad's fault that he put you, or that he didn't give you like the first balancing thing, and that uh, and that you're blaming Haley for losing the challenge for you. That is what happened. Yes.
Essentially, well, she was. It really was on the borderline of absolute delusion. It was the essentially saying how Haley, when she was balancing on the beams, while they still had the lead when she finished, according to Debbie, she was like fucking around on the first beam or the second beam or so, like for 10 minutes, I believe, were
Yeah.
was around the exact exact way that she was portraying it, and essentially saying that she was doing just fine on the beams, and
Debbie's tribe had the lead when Debbie started on the beams, and then they lost the challenge overall.
right, Ty and went to her and was like, I understand that maybe you don't think that Brad shows any respect, and that was kind of when Debbie went off, like saying none, 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 and like she was really angry about it.
God, Debbie is the worst.
And then they kind of
She's the worst. She sucks. I hate her.
Chilling on the beach, and that was when the preview kind of came back up when it was Debbie was just saying how she you like Brad like was saying like I'm sorry Debbie, I don't really I really don't mean to make you feel bad or anything like that. And Debbie's just like, I don't even think you know what you're doing, which I'm sure what went through his mind was like, no, I do not know what you're talking about. And then Debbie kind of went on her little tangent again, and it was just like, you boss us all around, you act like you're the king, you act like you're controlling because you're a former football player who probably used to leading, and and you're a family guy, so you're probably used to leading there too. So you have no respect for me, and you crushed my heart. And so like that was a thing. And Brad, I mean, good on Brad for not lashing back out. He kind of just remained contained the entire time. I think he was just really confused. I think pretty much everyone was confused at the moment. And it seemed pretty much that she had her made her bed, and now she's gonna have to lie in it probably for the rest of. I mean, who knows? It just does not have. It's not a good look for her, and I don't think it's gonna. I don't know how many allies she's really gonna keep around. With that kind of like ruthless behavior. I get it. Yeah. I mean, look what Brad is definitely a threat, a physical threat, and sure, like he's been doing a lot of some of the strategizing for the tribe. So it's not bad to want to target him. It's another thing to get mad at him and yell in his face for something that's so irrational, that you kind of create this own scenario in your head that you were perfect in the challenge and Haley wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't really.
I don't know. The worst part is that this bullshit continued on into the immunity challenge.
Yeah. Well, before we get into that, we have a few other segments here.
All right.
The first we had we're back at Nuku Tribe, and they have some of the coffee left over from I think a previous reward challenge.
Yes.
And they Michaela asked for like a certain I guess like what was I try to remember what the exact order she gave, but it was like a like 7 drops of coffee and a scoop of sugar or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And JT was standing there with like I think Aubrey, and Aubrey was telling JT the order, I guess, and then JT was just like, God, like it's so annoying, like I don't, we're not here to serve you type thing. That's the way that he kind of came across.
Yeah.
And so Sandra saw that, and she was just like, you know what, what I'm gonna do to cause some chaos is I'm going to eat all the sugar that we have left, and if JT sees it, we'll probably blame Michaela because that's what he just wants to do right now. It just seems.
Yeah.
And so she does it, and JT absolutely falls for it. And JT gets really pissed about the fact that Michaela ate the sugar, and JT makes it like kind of confronts her about it, and that makes Michaela mad. And neither of them really blew up at each other, but it was obvious tension there, and it was just, and like Michaela was just like, what the fuck is he even talking about? I had nothing to do with it. And I gotta say, it was at this moment I was just like, Jesus Christ, Sandra.
Yeah.
I mean, I have an on and off relationship with like Sandra as a person, but fucking a great Survivor player when she can pull this shit, you know. That
was great.
It was fantastic. And of course I think that's when you're on Team Chaos, it's always fun.
Yeah.
Then we have we return to Mana, and there's still lots of tension in the tribe, and so Ty then is like, all right, I should go out of my way to find an idol because there's no other hope otherwise for us right now. So then Ty begins to look for an idol. He finds a clue. What do you remember what the clue was? Because I only wrote find clue, but
I don't. So he had to like pour water on a board or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget where exactly that. What exactly like he would get from like pouring water on a board, but it would like reveal a message to where the idol was or some shit like that.
Yeah, it's weird. He didn't find it yet, but.
No.
That's at least a pending thing that's happening. So then we get to the immunity challenge. Do you remember the immunity challenge enough to describe it?
So they had to all of them get over a large structure. Simple enough. Then they had to roll like a wooden frame for a bit until they could stand on it underneath a metal coil, which a keyring was around. They had to take the keyring and get it off the coil. Then they had to open a box that had a bunch of sandbags in them, carry all 100 sandbags across a balance beam, place them at the end of the balance beam. Once all 100 were there, they had to shoot targets with a slingshot with the balance beam or with the sandbags.
Right. Did you say train? I think it was they were giant cubes. They were
a frame.
Oh, frame. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I didn't want to say. I didn't want to say cube because they weren't like solid.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
I heard train. I was just like, I don't
Oh no,
remember.
they did not push a train.
I don't remember a
They just
train.
roll the frame around.
So describe the atmosphere in this challenge, Go Cubs. We kind of
Well,
sense some tension still, huh?
yeah, they showed the preview again, and like when the preview of the strategizing again, and Debbie at one point just like turned away, saying like, "I'm done. Do whatever. Just do whatever you want. I'm not gonna do the thing that I said I could do because you won't let me do it." It's like, okay. And then the challenge started, and when they made it over, Debbie yells at Brad, "I was the first one down, Brad. Did you see that? Did you see that, Brad? I was the first one down." It's like, okay. Brad the entire time was just like, "Debbie, I love you. Don't just stop."
Yeah, he was the whole time. He was just trying to understand. Like, I don't think he was trying to lash out at her or anything. He was just kind of like, I don't know why you're so mad at me. I like you. It's okay. Yeah. What is happening? So, but clearly she was cheering him on at the end as Mana wins their first ever immunity in the season. Brad carries.
Finally.
Brad gets uses the catapult with the bags and knocks them all down fast as hell, and they ended up winning the challenge. And that was pretty much the end of that chapter for now. I don't know. I'm sure Debbie's still gonna be salty as fuck for no reason.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be awful.
But that's the end of that. Who knows? So then we have the battle between Tavua and Nuku. And, my god, Tavua cannot be slayed as they take second place in the immunity, sending Nuku back to tribal. And Nuku's actually going to have less members than Mana now because of
insane.
This would be their second tribal, right?
Second straight, yeah.
Second straight. All right. So,
after a shared one with Mana.
Yeah, so they get back to camp, and JT makes it clear right out of the gate. You know, we're gonna target Michaela. She's useless around camp, and she's just there's too much hostility around her. We gotta get her out. But Sandra has another side to her, or another strategy anyway, and she feels like she can team up with Michaela and Jeff Varner, and they can get rid of JT. Who, again, Sandra before, she wanted to get JT out because he betrayed the tribe. And so she feels that if they could make a final 3 deal or just a 3-person deal, that they can get JT out. So tribal council comes, and Michaela and JT are kind of just bickering the whole time. Like JT's just so excited for tells Michaela straight up that oh, I'm so excited to see you go, and all that. And Michaela is just laughing at his ridiculousness. And then the tribe makes it very clear though that Michaela is not really wanted, and that kind of silences Michaela a bit. And Michaela's just it is what it is. And both Jeff Varner and Aubrey, they were all kind of you've tried with Michaela, but it's hard to get. It's hard to understand her. It's hard to to keep her from going off or whatever. I don't know exactly what the phrasing they use, but it's something along those lines. So yeah, and then we get to the vote, and it's very interesting because I didn't actually realize it. Because I was kind of distracted by other stuff, but my dad pointed out that during when they were voting, that they revealed 4 of the 5 votes.
They don't usually do that, but everyone knew that Varner was going to be the flip vote.
Right, but
the deciding vote.
But even if then, you just see the 2 people that are being targeted writing down the other person's name, or you may see maybe maybe one extra person, but you saw 4 out of the 5 remaining reveal their votes. It was JT and Aubrey who voted for Michaela, and Michaela and Sandra that voted for JT. And so as the votes are being revealed, Michaela is just sipping her cup, sipping her water. No big deal. And then they reveal the votes. It's 1 vote JT, or I think it was 1 vote Michaela, 1 vote JT, 1 vote Michaela, 1 vote JT, And then Jeff's vote is or Jeff Varner's vote is revealed, and it is JT
JT.
that is voted off. And it was a very funny, I think, visual of Michaela just kind of sipping her cup like the Kermit the Frog tea meme.
Yeah.
That was just like
I honestly at that point I really wanted Michaela's name to come up at the end just to see how fucking stupid she would have looked.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought the whole thing was really funny.
Yeah.
That whole like little charade that they were doing, and Michaela was just like, "Tell Malcolm you made him go home." And JT was voted off. I will say right now, my first impressions coming out of that episode was, I think that Sandra can win a third one in a row. I truly think that.
Honestly.
At first I was like, I don't know how much are they going to have, like, how stupid would they be to really bring her to the end again and have her win? Like, I don't see that happening. Now I'm like, well, I mean, maybe she can. Maybe she can, because she has like that kind of look of not being as like that she's not intimidating, like in terms of like maybe like not being a huge factor in like physical challenges and all that. But she's a strategist, and she causes chaos, and she turns the target away from her every time. And it's that was really the first impression that I really got out of it, because I was just like, I don't know. I think right now I don't know if there's a stronger castaway right now than Sandra.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, and look, we've chose two guys that are on the Tavua tribe. We have no idea what's going on in that Tavua tribe.
True.
They've been
They don't need to have problems.
Yeah, I think actually I skipped a whole part of the episode where Sarah was talking to Troyzan and wanted to work with him, but that was so irrelevant because all, what is it, 5 or 6 of them that they are just, they don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And, you know, they have been very strong together. Now we got some previews. Explain the previews to me.
One of them was either another tribe swap or a merge. I still think it's too early for a merge.
Yeah, I mean, if you do the math, you have 6 + 5 + 4, so that's 15.
15. Oh, way too early.
So
we're still a few episodes away.
Yeah, they've had merges at 12, 11 around there.
Yeah, I think 12 is the most.
But I mean, this is also the season where you can't really, you would be surprised if all of a sudden it's like 15 people and it's a merge. I don't know, but it's definitely the news that I was gonna tell you, Gocubs, that, you know, I follow SurvivorFandom.com, which is owned by the Big Brother Network, who they're very friendly with CBS. They do a lot of press for the CBS CBS shows. That they say it's a merge. They're saying that this is a merge. Now,
shit.
Is that absolutely confirmed? That I'm not going to say right now, I can't say, rather. I don't know for sure, because that's what they're saying. I tend to trust them, but I also am with you in the sense that I just don't. I think it's really soon to do that, because we're not even out of the month. We're just out of the end of March now. We're at the very beginning of April, and it would be very shocking if next week would be the start of the merge. It would be. I think it would be too soon, but yeah. So I think what we should do is, if we're going to trust the websites, that we'll just treat it as if it is the merge. In terms of our predictions, and just go from there. Or if we'll pick who we think wins immunity, and if their tribe wins, if they're still tribes, and if their tribe wins, then that's a good prediction for us, type thing.
Yeah.
But what was the other preview? There's a few other things that they have as well.
There was a what I only remember one other thing. There's a uh, uh, wide shot of a boat coming in saying that a former Survivor contestant was returning. No one knows who it is. No one knows why they're there unless that site knows it. But
Yeah.
and you're probably going to say it if they do. But
No.
that's what that is.
That was the only set of news that I had.
Okay.
I have no idea, and it's interesting because you think of former contestants coming back to host, and usually that's Big Brother's thing. I don't
Yeah.
think I remember a time where a former Survivor
Survivor's
passed away.
never done that.
I don't think it's happened before. I mean, again, new things happen, and they decide, oh, let's bring them in to have for
Boston Rob did tweet this morning saying that he was going to come back to Survivor next week, but given that it's April Fool's Day,
yeah. We can't trust him, man.
don't think that's true.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's not gonna be someone coming in as a contestant. I mean, if it is,
No, definitely not a contestant.
Because if it is, that's kind of bullshit. Because you have someone come in that has not experienced the full, like they're I don't know what day they're on. They have to be on day 7, day 8, or like even for long. They need it's the kind of unfair to bring someone in that's kind of more healthier probably than a lot of the other castaways and not involved in the situation at all. So I don't know. It's interesting. It's an interesting thing that they previewed, and then there is one more thing that was also in the TV preview, and you were very.
I don't
excited
remember
about
what it was.
You don't remember it? The island?
No. Oh, Exile Island is back.
I was surprised.
Wow.
I thought that was gonna be like the first thing that you said.
Yeah. Exile Island hasn't been around for a very long time. Ozzy is the most famous person involved with Exile Island because he was sent there all the time.
Yeah, well, he got probably his best survival tactics from that.
Yeah.
I know that they did it a few seasons ago. I think it was during. I want to say it was during the second Blood versus Water season where they brought back Exile Island.
I don't think they did. Redemption Island and Exile Island are two different things.
No, I know. Exile Island returned one season recently. Very recently.
I'm looking this up.
It was not like a primary season twist. It was just they kind of brought it back for like some earlier episodes.
Yeah, it was. It was so it happened. It happened once in Cowron, which was the second Brandon's Brown Beauty.
Okay. And I think, and that was it.
And it did happen in San Juan del Sur,
which is the second Blood versus Water then.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's why I remember. They did bring it back every once in a while. It was not like a huge thing that was part that it was happening, because I remember it was like the high school student, not the guy from like a few our last season or so, but it was like 2 seasons ago. It was the girl. I remember she was the one that got sent to Exile Island.
Mm.
But yeah, interesting stuff. Exile Island to me is not really doesn't really do a lot in terms of it doesn't change that person's game unless the tribe is kind of like expiring against them, but it's kind of brings the survival aspect again into like what has become a huge social game where you just have to be on your own. You can't be around anyone for 24 hours. You have to suffer through tough conditions. I've always found it interesting. It's for why I've seen it at least. But yeah, all right. Want to just say a few names who we think is gonna win immunity, and who we think is gonna be going home. It's gonna be kind of tough to predict, but might as well just lay it down.
All right. I think that Ozzy / the tribe that Ozzy is on is gonna win immunity.
Okay. And what about going home?
Going home, Sandra.
Oh, yeah, Sandra's finally gonna get it.
Sandra's time.
Okay. As for me, let's see. I will go. I'll go with Brad's tribe is gonna win immunity.
All right.
And think here. Um, yeah, usually there's if it is the merge, you usually get like a bombshell vote out. And so Sandra would definitely be in that category. I have to look though, because like right now, looking at this list here of those remaining, there's not a lot of people outside of Sandra that is really
Right.
that really sticks out as like a huge opponent right now. All right, I'll bet against myself. I'll go Zeke.
Oh, okay.
I'll go Zeke gets voted out. So either way, I win. Nah, it's okay.
Sure.
Because because I usually try to think of like a bombshell, and it took it before me, so I didn't want to say the same thing.
Fair.
All right, that's pretty much it for this episode of the podcast. Very very interesting stuff happening. Who knows what's actually gonna happen?
Fuck Debbie.
Next week. Oh, you know what? No, I'll change from Zeke to Debbie.
Oh, okay. There we go.
I'll change to Debbie. People are going to get so mad, Debbie's gonna get voted out. There you go. I prefer that over Zeke. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Looking forward to next week's episode because I'm sure it's just gonna be absolute chaos. As always, Team Chaos. And stay tuned. I think in the next week or two we might do another episode of MMG podcast. I have a few.
Oh, cool.
I have a few things in mind that I would like to talk about and stuff. Since there's so much sports happening, yeah, maybe we'll talk a whole bunch of that stuff. So stay tuned for that. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Be good to one another, be kind to one another, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you, Gocubs.
So long.
Bye bye.